It's estimated that the human brain can process 120 bits of information per second. To carry on a conversation with another person and be truly capable of understanding what he's saying, you'll need about 60 bits. Try to talk with more than one person and, well, you're pretty much maxed out. All the while, your phone buzzes, your computer chirps, and your email dings with something you just can't miss. The pace of business today demands that we work connected, almost constantly. It's exhausting. But connection can energize us. It can focus us. It can make that cacophony feel more like beautiful music, as long as it's the right connection. ASUG has been the lifeblood of SAP customers since the first SAP installations went live in the United States more than 20 years ago. Our network of unparalleled technology and business content and knowledge is now vital to the success of thousands of customers. To us, work is a journey that benefits from connecting with trusted, kindred spirits who not only help us grapple with what's in front of us now, but kindle inspiration and innovation. At chapter meetings, on the web, on phone calls, at major events, all year round. Turn down the noise by turning to us. Work better connected. And together, we can make running SAP simple a reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Executive Officer of America's SAP Users Group, Jeff Scott.
Good afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, 4:30. How's everyone doing? Well, energy up? Feeling good? Awesome. There we go. Good afternoon. There's a guy by the name of Michael Strahan back here. Anyone know him? Great guy. We're going to talk to him a little bit later, but let's get started this afternoon. I first of all would like to thank some members of the audience that are here with us today. I'd like to give a shout out to Michael Kleinmeyer and Gerd Oswald, members of the SAP board who are here in the front row with us today. Thank you guys. I'd also like to thank the ASUG Board of Directors. We have 4 new board members this year. They're amazing people to continue the legacy that we built as your user community. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. We also have over 500 volunteers, and a number of them are going to join me on this stage in a moment because it really is our community that drives the amazing technology that we use today. And it's all about us as an SAP user community that make all of this happen. I'd like to kick off our afternoon together by giving you a sneak peek at something really special. What I'm about to show you is the major competitive advantage for your business. What I'm about to show you will inspire you, it will enrich you, it will truly change your life. So now that I have your attention, what is it that I'm talking about? Well, quite simply, it's you. It's me. It's the person next to you, the person behind you, and the person in front of you. Alone, you or I or them can't possibly do it all. We can't carry the weight of our organizations on our shoulders, despite what we sometimes think or even claim. But when you connect us all, when you connect us, that's when the magic happens. Because when we connect, we talk to one another. We laugh, we disagree, we challenge one another, and we encourage one another. And together, we create an environment where growth happens. These wonderful ideas that we come up with together drive innovation, and it is this innovation that drives evolution. What I'm describing to you this afternoon is the most fundamental of networks. Quite simply, it is the people network. As these people come up with me on stage this afternoon, they represent this amazing people network in action. every one of us knows that our world gets more complicated every single day. And I believe what will carry us through, what will help us get our arms around simplicity, is to put more stock into where it all began. So come back with me. Come back with me to those dark ages, those dreadful days, not so very long ago, before we had emails and iPhones and Androids and tablets and phablets and even these cool new smartwatches. The list is exhausting. So come back with me before we had email and text messages and all these other things where we had to talk to one another to get things done. Back then, we clearly had fewer ways to connect. But I think everyone on the stage with me this afternoon would agree, we were better connected. And it is this basic connection, this connection between people, that is the bedrock of ASUG, your user group. ASUG, at its most elemental level, is a network of people that want to connect to achieve truly great things. In ASUG, we find one another. We find the encouragement, the strength, and the confidence to take risks, to propose new ideas, to try new things. And through all of this, we contemplate the art of the improbable and maybe even impossible. Because pulsing through our network is that rare quality that propels any great journey: optimism. The people on the stage with me here today help create environments where ideas flourish and innovation flows. They work for all these amazing companies behind us, and they are all winners of the ASUG Service Awards, one of the highest honors bestowed on members of our SAP user community. In each of them, you will find collaborators, you'll find partners, and maybe even some competitors. But what each of them will tell you, they will tell you that in ASUG they find a common community, a community that comes together to bring life to this amazing software and capability provided by SAP, and a huge network of partners and peers that power this incredible ecosystem. Let's give them a round of applause for their fabulous achievements. This is a great group of people, isn't it? Thank you, guys. And by the way, they really enjoyed being up here today, because this is a small stage, it's a small area, and it just, it's so friendly and familiar, it just makes you feel great. As they return to you, they join thousands of other ASUG members who are passionate SAP professionals. Every one of us is here this week because we believe in the power and potential of SAP software. And aren't we at our very best when we come together here? Because it is here in Orlando that we come together and talk for these days and try to figure out what it is that we need our organizations to do for their future. And we come from faraway places. Some of us come from Australia or Alberta or Anaheim or Annapolis, and we come to be here. And my question to you is why? Why do you come here when you can watch this real time? There's a huge video stream. You can read Twitter. You can catch up on blogs. Why do you spend the time, the money, and the travel aggravation to be here? Well, I believe that you come here because there is simply no substitute for being here. There's no substitute for the real-time conversation, those real-time pauses, that critical back and forth that allows for thought, for reflection, and for ideas to build. And if you're like me, that's what keeps you coming back here year over year over year. And while you are here this week, I encourage you to be here. Be present. I challenge you to put down your phone, look up, and engage. As a wonderful mentor of mine used to say before he began a meeting, heads up and mouths open. Because that's the only way that we really learn and understand. So take a moment, look around you. Who's next to you? Who's behind you? Take that chance and start that conversation. Because quite simply, what do you have to lose? The person sitting around you could have that answer you've been looking for this week, this month, or perhaps all year. You could find that person, and that person could be that newfound connection that could be your key that you call on in the future when you have that question you didn't even think about this week, and that question that maybe you didn't even know you had. How will you ever know if you don't take that initial step and start that conversation? Technology is the pipeline that connects us in ways that our forefathers could have never imagined. Mobile devices, the Internet of Things, and the ever-expanding reach of the Internet. And by the way, the Internet will bring more than 1 billion people online over the next 2 years. And very soon, we will have more connected devices on this planet than we have people. Technology is great for exchanging ideas. It can help spark a relationship. It can help maintain a relationship. But by itself, it can't form the relationship. As I just said, technology is this pipeline. You can't rely on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or email alone to cement meaningful connections, much less meaningful networks. I wonder if your CEO walked into your office next week and asked you to talk to 3 other companies that were using SuccessFactors or Ariba or the Business Warehouse on HANA or Hybris, what would you do? Would you go out to LinkedIn and do a search and maybe get back to her in 3 or 4 days? I suggest there's a better way. I suggest you use your ASUG network, the network that you build upon this week here in Orlando, a network that will allow you to find those critical conversations and get you the answers that you need. That is the power of the human network, the connected ASUG network. And I want you to imagine if we connected like this all year round. Consider the amount of innovation that we could unleash just by talking and learning from each other. Because with that time saved, you will have the time to innovate for your user community, and you will help them leverage the software to an even greater extent and even greater outcomes. I want every SAP customer to be part of this amazing network of people who can help to drive to meaningful solutions and, quite simply, bring meaning to work. That's my vision for ASUG, because I believe the journey that we are on requires it and may, in fact, even demand it. The journey that many of us started together was about process automation, making the processes more efficient. And to do that, we connected and integrated systems, lots and lots of systems. And we all know that this integration is extremely hard. It takes countless meetings, lots of coordination, lots of code, hundreds of hours of testing, and we do that all in the name of getting to where we are today. Steve Jobs said, simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple. But it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. As an SAP community, as a connected community, I believe we are starting to move those mountains. And so what mountains might we be moving? Let me give you a hint. I believe our journey starts with HANA. When I first saw this technology, and when your ASUG board of directors and your volunteers and your ASUG community first started talking about this technology, I, and maybe even you, was a little skeptical. I thought it was a niche product and with a narrow purpose. I didn't think every customer would benefit from it. But over time, I've had my eyes opened. I've watched SAP refine this technology over the last 6 years, and I've watched the reality of our work evolve. And I've come to realize some very, very important things. I've come to realize that speed matters, that simplicity matters, and getting to clarity through an ever-increasing tidal wave of data is essential. Simplicity in our view, in the view of ASUG, is not just about reducing the number of tables in a database to increase the speed of the application. Simple must also include easier upgrades, easier migrations, easier configurations, and faster ways for all of us to develop, test, and implement change. I believe that HANA will have a place in the businesses of each and every SAP customer. As a user community, I also know that we all may be experiencing just a little bit of HANA fatigue. But I ask you to step back for a second, because I believe what the vision of HANA represents is important. I don't think it's going to be a nice to have. I think it's going to be a got to have. If you believe that Wayne Gretzky was right when he said, skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it's been, then you have to believe in the promise of these technologies as a solution to where we're all going at an ever-increasing breakneck speed. Business advantage can no longer come just from making processes more efficient. It has to come from the people behind those processes. And once those people have faster systems and systems that they can talk with, they can spend less time executing the process and more time thinking about how to improve on it or innovate it. Our most valuable asset, our employees, can spend their time participating in world-class processes instead of consuming all their valuable time executing them. As your user group, as ASUG, we believe the move to these technologies will not happen overnight. There simply is no way it can. So we believe that SAP does need to be patient. And we also know that this is not a word that is likely to be in your account executive's vocabulary. Each and every one of us will make this journey in different phases and at different times, but we will make this journey together. And we are here to support you. Our job as your user group is to help each and every one of you find the ones who will make the difference, to connect you with each other and to connect you into this wonderful SAP ecosystem. And to do that, we've zeroed in on some places this year where we think our community can best benefit. Human resources, the Internet of Things, user experience, HANA, S4, and simple finance. We've hired a deeply experienced team to define a new generation of communities that will be the go-to destinations for information, for content, for journey maps, for contacts, thought leadership, and perspective. Today, I'm happy to say that you can join dedicated communities for the Internet of Things, for Hybris, and for HR SuccessFactors. And in support of the next generation of these technologies, we're forging some new partnerships, such as a wonderful partnership with the University Alliance Program, which will be your gateway to the talent that we all need that will help us cross this journey together. In addition, we've created a brand new partnership with the Customer Startup Network, which is part of the Startup.Focus team. And this is a wonderful way to work with over 2,000 startups who are building state-of-the-art solutions using SAP technologies. My, how time flies. It was nearly 25 years ago that ASUG began this journey together. And at that time, there was no map for that system-to-system integration for those first pioneering SAP customers. That's why they came together and founded ASUG. It was the complexity and the need to draw on that common community. As it was then, there is no map for this next phase of our journey together. We're charting new ground here. These paths that we're starting to explore are new. Let's not forget that in this journey, the ERP is the foundation of what we all do. We all have a wonderful opportunity to reimagine this new ERP together, to connect our experiences and build the next generation of SAP enterprise capability. And I couldn't be more excited to see what we do accomplish together and the business value that we create together. And while we are here this week together, I want you to remember to connect on the third floor, where we're offering over 600 hours of education aimed at ensuring that you remain at the top of your game. Individually, I'm willing to bet that a lot of you have poured your souls into this software, and you feel a connection with it that is really unlike any other enterprise technology in the world. I know that each of us have had great successes and great challenges with this technology. Just like you, I've seen the sun rise over the top of my monitor more times than I care to remember or recount. And I'm sure you would begrudgingly admit as well that it's through these sunrises that we have learned some of our most valuable lessons. All of you today have a great responsibility to do everything you can to continue to make these investments good ones for your business, for your end users, and your customers. And because of that, there is no better time to join this community. We want to hear your voice, your experience, your insight, your story. And we know that it's through these stories that we will collectively make this planet a better place. And one of these great stories this afternoon is that of Eastman Chemical. Eastman is amongst those helping to build this map and to push their business forward using this great technology. They simply work better connected. Please join me in welcoming Eastman Chemical's Vice President and Chief Information Officer and Vice Chairman of the ASUG Board, Keith Sturgill. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I'd like to start our conversation this afternoon by telling you about one of my favorite places in the world, Alaska. My wife and I love to travel to Alaska. And a few years ago, we hired a pilot and a guide to take us back into the Katmai Wilderness. This was part of Katmai National Park in southern Alaska, where we spent the day watching Alaskan coastal grizzlies actively hunting and eating salmon. We saw many bears that day, as many as 10 at a time in very close proximity. I can tell you it was an intense and exciting day. I shared this experience with a member of my senior leadership team, Matt Looney. I encouraged him to go. And no, I wasn't trying to get rid of Matt or anything, but he came back with a picture that you see behind me of this big, bold Alaskan grizzly bear. So at this point, you're probably wondering, why is Keith up there talking to us about bears? Well, this bear represents something that I think we all need to be aware of. You see, this bear is large, probably 1,100 pounds or so, aggressive, predatory even. This bear will protect his turf literally at all costs. And you know what? This bear is only concerned about today. He's not worried about tomorrow. He's not worried about the future. So what do you think this bear represents for us this afternoon? Does anybody have a guess as to what this represents? And let me just tell you before you guess it, this is not your SAP account executive at the end of a quarter. Let's name this bear. He's status quo. This bear wants to keep you exactly where you are, wants you to fear the future, wants you to fear change. Status quo wants you to believe that what's made your business successful to this point is exactly what's needed to keep your business competitive in the future. We must beware of the bear. Because, guys, we live in a time of great opportunity. There has never been a better time to be a technology professional. We live and work in a time where the opportunities in front of us have never been greater. And you know what? I believe it only gets better from here. I personally love change. And you know, I know that makes me different, but through my eyes, the future looks exhilarating. As technology professionals, we're at the center of a transformation that I believe is at least as large as the Industrial Revolution of 150 years ago. We have a unique opportunity to be revolutionary, to be advocates for positive and, yes, even radical change in how our businesses operate, how they grow, and how they succeed in a dynamic global economy. You know, it wasn't that long ago that what separated the winners from losers was automation and efficiency, where the primary purpose of information technology was to produce an answer through computation, to manage a system of record, or to manage a transaction flow. But you know, Times are changing. Instead of taking people out of the equation, people are moving back toward the center. Today, technology must empower people to foster ideas and develop insights so that they can make better, faster decisions as we move our businesses forward at an ever-increasing pace. That's the challenge that I'm facing as the CIO of Eastman Chemical. So who is Eastman, you may be asking? Well, a little more than 20 years ago, Eastman was spun from our parent, Eastman Kodak, into a brand new independent company. We were free to succeed or not, based on our own decisions. It was a very exciting time. Today, we're a Fortune 300 company with almost $10 billion in annual revenue. Over the last 5 years, we've delivered 5 consecutive years of record earnings, a rare thing, especially in our industry. Today, we are a growing and successful company, and it feels great. Guys, there is no substitute for growth. The transformation we've gone through has been remarkable, and SAP and ASUG have been a notable part of our journey. I was thinking back to when we began our SAP journey more than 20 years ago, and yes, I was there. I can remember hearing some rumors about this bold new initiative to globalize our company, to take it to the next level, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be part of something big, something that would have a lasting impact, and I also wanted something that would challenge me personally. Well, I got more than I asked for. I was selected as the first SAP basis person at Eastman Chemical. I was thrilled, excited. At the time, I had no clue what it meant. For those of you who go back that far, SAP was new in North America during those days, and I think it would be fair for us to say that there were a few opportunities, okay? I remember very specifically getting the latest technical documentation direct from Waldorf. Came via snail mail, obviously. I remember opening the box and pulling out a multi-ring binder, and it literally had hundreds of pages. So I began to read. And I came across this phrase. It said, meadows of data. Didn't know what it meant. I thought, well, maybe this is a brand new technical term that I'd never heard before. I continued to read, and I would continue to see meadows of data. But as I continued to read, eventually I realized this had to be a translation issue. The German phrase that had been translated into meadows of data should have been translated fields of data. Right? So I'm happy to say that I've transitioned through the meadows, and I've chosen to make my career at Eastman. Eastman is a special company with great people and a wonderful culture, highly collaborative and highly ethical. I'm part of a special team, and I'm especially proud of the role that the men and women of Eastman Information Technology have played in the transformation of our company. You see, without great people, we would not be where we are today. And I certainly wouldn't be on this stage talking to you this afternoon. We have a long and rich history with SAP. SAP has been our business platform for multiple decades now. We believe deeply in the integrated enterprise that SAP enables. We consider it a competitive advantage. It would be nearly impossible for me to overstate the positive impact that SAP has had on Eastman. But you know, have you noticed? The world is changing rapidly. There is a great book by Marshall Goldsmith that's called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And that's very true for leaders. It's true for companies. And I would say it's especially true in times of great change. I want you to step back and I want you to ask yourself this question. What if the primary purpose of information technology was not centered around reducing human involvement or a drive for relentless efficiencies, but instead was focused on magnifying human involvement, making people more insightful, more innovative, and more productive? Make no mistake about it, we are facing a defining moment. Things will never be the same. So let me say this again. We are at the beginning of a revolution that is at least as big as the Industrial Revolution of 150 years ago. I remember this time last year, I watched Bill McDermott on this very stage stand up here and talk about this idea of run simple. I remember thinking, this message is really resonating with me more than I thought that it would. And I went away thinking, wow, that's a big vision. I can't imagine a bigger challenge for SAP. And you know what? It won't be easy for SAP. It won't be easy for us as customers. But as I continued to think about this, I thought, you know, that's really what vision is all about. Creating a picture of the future that produces passion. And I think we can all agree that things that are transformational are never easy. Today, SAP delivers value to my business every minute of every day in every region of the world. Without SAP, we don't serve our customers, we don't ship product, and at some point, we don't manufacture product. It is without a doubt mission critical. But you know, it would be a stretch to call it simple. Okay, it would be a lie to call it simple, all right? We do sophisticated things. Our business, like yours, requires sophistication. I mean, at Eastman, we make brand new materials, and we use them in things that you touch every day, from the screen on your smartphone, to the paint on your car, to the BPA-free water bottle that you take with you to the gym. So this idea of run simple, do I believe this statement? Do I believe it's even possible? I've thought a lot about this, And I began to think, you know, wouldn't it be great if we could deliver software that was so intuitive that it didn't require training? Or at least it didn't require multiple pages of instructions on how to enter a simple expense statement. Or wouldn't it be great if we had an easy way to identify and remove value-destroying complexity from our companies? And wouldn't it be great if, as we deliver groundbreaking, needle-moving capability, we could do it in a way that was so irresistible to our end consumers that it made robust change management plans obsolete? But I continued to think, and I thought, you know, it's more than that. This idea of run simple is more than just making software easy to use. If we're going to succeed at this, we've got to rethink how our businesses operate from the ground up. We've got to rethink how we make decisions within our companies. You see, the world is changing at an ever-increasing pace. And that change is driving complexity into the decisions that we're trying to make every day. Let me give you a couple of examples from our business. Complexity for Eastman is a pricing manager trying to figure out the optimum price point for a product when all of a sudden the price of crude oil plummets. A big deal in our industry. Or it's a sales rep trying to figure out an accurate demand forecast when she's not really sure how much a key customer is going to order this month, this quarter, or this year. So can we simplify in the midst of this growing complexity? Can technology help us? Absolutely. That's why I am so excited about the opportunity in front of us. Let me tell you how we're tackling this problem at Eastman. Recently, we formed a group we call Data Science. And this is a group that has the mission to enhance decision-making at Eastman. This is a group of operations research, statisticians, and IT professionals that are doing some incredible things. They're starting to anticipate the future. And I'm expecting that HANA will be part of their tool set very soon. So let me give you a specific example of how Eastman is taking the complex and making it simple. Part of Eastman's annual business planning process requires our sales rep to enter a rolling 24-month demand forecast, a labor-intensive effort. We engaged our data science group, and they created an optimized statistical forecast which gave a much better picture of demand, and we automatically populated our SAP systems. The results were immediate. We saw as much as a 30% improvement in some cases, and that's huge. But more importantly, we believe this will put in place a flywheel effect where our sales reps can spend more time with customers, get to know them better, deeper, in a more profound way. They'll discover insights that allow us to serve them better, not just today, but develop the products that will serve them better into the future. So as we simplify our business, we'll give people time to think, time to plan, and time to strategize. We'll give them the right information in the right context to make better, faster decisions at every level of our company. Because we must make our business more agile. Because I firmly believe that fast and right beats slow and right every time. And guys, this is heavy lifting. It will not be easy. This journey to simplifying business will be demanding, far more demanding than prior journeys. But the rewards will be so much greater. And that's why I believe this is a journey that should not be tackled in solitude. Like Jeff said, there is no map for this. You will need a group of like-minded people to go with you on this journey. And that's exactly what you'll find in America's SAP Users Group. At Eastman, we've been part of ASUG since the beginning, literally. We found it a great place to share information, to understand potential areas of problem, to uncover certain areas of value maybe that we hadn't thought about. But we've also found it to be a great place to grow and develop people. My very first external speaking engagement was at an ASUG event in 1993. Yeah, 1993. And I'm not alone. Eastman professionals have contributed to every area of ASUG since the beginning. As a matter of fact, we've contributed more than 100 presentations to ASUG over the years because we believe in the value of contributing to and learning from the experience of others. So guys, as I wrap this up, remember how I introduced this talk? Remember the bear? What did we name him? There we go. We got status quo because status quo wants you to believe that what I just talked about is too hard for your business. Status quo wants you to believe that what I've just talked about isn't necessary for your business. Status quo wants you to believe that what has made your business successful today will be what's necessary to keep you competitive in the future. We must move forward with a sense of urgency. Days matter because defining moments are just that, moments. They will disappear as quickly as they appeared. Speed matters. So let's commit now to the hard task in front of us, the task of moving our businesses to a better place, a simpler place, where technology enables our teams to outthink and out-execute the competition. Guys, we are the stewards of technology for our generation. Let's be part of something bigger than ourselves. Let's be part of something with a lasting impact. I believe firmly that SAP has the vision for transformative business technology. And as importantly, I believe SAP has the engineering expertise to deliver on that vision. And most of all, I believe that ASUG has the network and the leadership to help each of us apply this vision to our companies. So let's be bold and let's be courageous as we go down this road together. Oh, and remember, beware of the bear. Thank you.
You did great. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Sturgill. Let's give him another round of applause. What an amazing story. Michael Strahan's entire 15-year football career was embodied by the charisma and sportsmanship that made him a 7-time NFL Pro Bowler. One of the league's most feared pass rushers, he still holds the single-season sack record. In 2007, Strahan led the New York Giants to a dramatic Super Bowl victory over the previously undefeated New England Patriots. Last year, Strahan was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame class, the sport's highest honor. Today, Michael is the Emmy Award-winning co-host of the wildly popular Live with Kelly and Michael, and a co-host on the Good Morning America and analyst on NFL on Fox. And despite this incredibly busy travel schedule, he found the time to be with us here today in Orlando. So please join me in welcoming Michael Strahan to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Believe in me. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good? I get a podium, making me feel special. So, you know, thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. And all I got to say is, before we get started, first order of business, as I see myself on this screen, the space in my teeth is not as big as it appears on that screen. So don't go home and say, whoa, he's got a big gap in it. It's not that big. Let's get that out of the way. And secondly, how many football fans do we have here? Okay. How many Giants fans do we have here? Well, at least I know how many people will enjoy this speech. But, you know, sometimes I've had so many different careers and so many, it feels like so many different lives that I have sometimes forgotten that I play football. And I will have men who come up to me and say, man, my wife watches you on TV every day. She loves you. And she always asks me, why is Michael getting that award for that Hall of Fame? Because they have no idea that I play football. I have kids who have no idea that I play football. A lot of people have no idea that I play football. And I constantly get guys who do know me from football who will walk up and say, you're not that big. I think I can take you. You don't look strong now. And I must admit, I do forget that I have played football. And just so a reminder, because I know there's always a Cowboys fan somewhere. Yeah, there's always a Packers fan somewhere. Somebody's going to say, Brett Favre gave you that sack. I don't care. There's always an Eagles fan somewhere. But just in case you decide you want to come up to me if you catch me around and say, you're not that big and all that, and since I've kind of forgotten I play football, since it's such a big room and I may have to fight out off a lot of you, I brought my Super Bowl ring, which I'm going to put right there. And I bought my Hall of Fame ring, which I'm going to put right there. And that'll remind all of us that I had another career before what I do now. And when I was at the Hall of Fame, it was just such an incredible event. Much like this, thousands of people, and you're up there to talk about your career. And talking about your career, it makes you really think back on how you have the career that you do have. And you realize you don't have a career and you don't have success because you've done it all by yourself. And my speech was about improbable is not impossible. Because my life has been, my life and what has happened has been, it has not been, it's been improbable but not impossible. It has seemed improbable that a kid who grew up in Mannheim, Germany, who played football when I was 7 and 8 years old, who only started working out because his brothers called him Bob when he was 13, and Bob meant booty on back. That's not funny, ma'am. I can see you. You know that, right? All right, booty on back. I was a big bone kid. I ate. I didn't do anything. I ate food. And they called me Bob. But that inspired me to work out. It's one of the first things I can go back to my life remembering that made me want to change, made me want to improve something. And, but my life seems improbable from that to all of a sudden, my senior year of high school, my dad says, we've been working out for 3 or 4 years, from 13 until I was 17 years old. You're going to go to Houston. You're going to stay with your uncle. You're going to get a football scholarship. And I was so ignorant to the fact of failure that I said, absolutely yes. So I fly to Houston, I stay with my Uncle Art, go to Westbury High School for 5 months. I play football and have no idea what I was doing. If you had the football, if you'd have thrown it to your mama, I would have tackled her. I had no idea. Whoever has the ball, just get the person with the ball. I had no idea about football. But I had one scholarship to Texas Southern University. And, well, thank you. One person from Texas Southern here, yeah. Oh, and it is the HBCU, a historically black, and the only person clapping was a black person. Thank you. I applaud you back. Thank you, sister. And, but I went to TSU, and from TSU, from not knowing what I was doing, I had a great team around me. I had a great team as far as like coaches as well. When I say team, I mean everybody, because everybody is important. Everybody has a value. And at Texas Southern with that team, I had no idea how to play football, but I had a willingness to learn from anybody. And I had people willing to teach me. And so from Texas Southern, my dad was like, that's where you're going to school, son, because it's free. And I went there and graduated 4 years later and was drafted by the New York Giants. Yeah. You're Eagle. If you don't like the Giants, you don't have to clap. I like them because they drafted me. Whoever I would have went would have been fine. But I ended up with the Giants and another scared kid, not knowing what to expect. I mean, the whole different world. I thought Germany was a fast place. Then I go to Houston, Texas, and I think Houston's the fastest city in the country. And then they drop me in the middle of New York City, and I walk into the locker room, and there's Lawrence Taylor, and there's Phil Simms, and there's Bart Oates, and all these Hall of Fame and Super Bowl winning players. And I was such a fish out of water. And that felt just like college. I went from being nothing from high school to college, being nothing in college to getting by the end of my senior year, feeling like the man. So all of a sudden being in the pros where I feel like nobody again and having to relearn and reinvent and recreate and just learn the business all over again. And after 15 years in New York, I finally figured out what the business was. It took me about that long to figure it out. But fortunately for me, I was able to figure it out at the right time because we went on to win a Super Bowl. And after that, I was able to close out that chapter and hopefully move on to another chapter. And that other chapter was TV. And who would have known that my TV career would be what it is right now? I had no idea. But the one thing I did have was the same thing that I had when I was 13 years old and I was being called Bob. And I wanted to change that. And you are still laughing every time I say Bob, man. I just wanted to change that. I wanted to improve. I still had the desire to get better. I had the desire to learn. I had the desire to be a part of a team. So I left the football field team and I went to the studio team of Fox, NFL on Fox. And everything that you do in your life, because I know you guys work in the technology business, and technology is constantly changing. And there's a mentality in your life sometimes, and there's a mentality in business that sometimes it's impossible to create things. It's impossible to change things, but you can do something about it. I am proof that you can do something about it. Things may seem impossible, but they're not. They may seem improbable, but they are not impossible. And you may think that you can't change something, and I'm at Fox, and I'm thinking about going back to the football field because that is what I was familiar with. That is the team I was familiar with. And I look over there, and I got bald-headed Terry Bradshaw, and he would mess with me. He and Howie Long would mess with me. And on live TV, my first show, I'm sitting there at the desk, and I look calm up here, but underneath my legs are wagging like a dog's tail because I'm so afraid of messing up. And they say on live TV, Michael, we got a question. And I'm like, okay, if a plane crashed in Canada full of Americans, where would they bury the survivors? Simple answer, right? Very simple. But on live TV, that is not a simple answer at all. My first day, and I'm like, and they go, you idiot, they're survivors, they wouldn't bury them. And you got Bradshaw doing that, you got Howie sitting there with the perfect flat top, you got Jimmy Johnson over there with hair that does not move, and absolutely it is his hair. I have touched it, I have looked at it, I read all those Hair Club for Men product books. That is his real hair, he does not do anything to it. And you sit there and you were so intimidated. And in business, you can be so intimidated. But as I sat around, I realized I'm there because I belong there. I'm there because I'm part of a team. And as a team, they may have given me a hard time at first, but we were there to do the job and do it well and do it together. And so as it went on, I sat every day and I learned. I took the same philosophy from the football field and I applied it to the TV studio. So as I'm sitting next to Terry Bradshaw and he's talking about Oh, when you see a chicken dip in snuff, just look under his wing for the can. Does anybody know what the hell that means? But people on TV, they love it. So I watch a little bit of Bradshaw. I watch Howie Long be a lot more serious in what his analytical skills about the game and how to break it down. Then I watch Jimmy Johnson give it from a coaching point of view. And I had to learn. You have to sit there and learn it. Every day it's like a master's class of learning from them and just being willing to learn how to fit in and how to slot myself in and finding my own rhythm to make this team successful because it's all about the team. And being with those guys, it is so interesting. It's so interesting in a sense because going from there to live with Kelly and Michael is a totally different world. It's kind of like now you're talking about technology, and then tomorrow they tell you they need you at Starbucks making coffee. It's a totally different business. It's a totally different mindset. But the common factor, it is still a team. And the great thing I love about being a part of a team is you control the situation. If I walked out here with a bad attitude and say, hey, how y'all doing? It controls the room. If you walk in with the right attitude, you control the room. And that is the greatest part about being a part of a team. When I'm at any of my jobs, I am accountable to everybody. Part of being a team is accountability. And in football, my accountability was before every game, no matter what, 15 years, I would go in and I would fist bump, I would touch, I would hug every player, every coach, every equipment guy, every doctor, every weight coach, everybody who was in that building, because it made me accountable to you, that everything I do on this field is a reflection of me, and I will not let you down. I will give you everything I have because I'm accountable to you. Accountability is so important. And through that accountability, I learned that there are different ways to lead as well. When I'm at NFL on Fox, when I'm at Live with Kelly and Michael, when I'm at GMA, it is important for me to show people their value. It's important for me to motivate people in my own way. But when you're trying to motivate people, you learn that people are motivated differently. And I played with a quarterback named Eli Manning. If you don't know Eli, you may know his brother Peyton. Oh, come on, Eli doesn't say much. It's very hard to get to know him. But when I played with Eli Manning and I played a running back, a guy named Brandon Jacobs. Brandon was about 6'5", 265 pounds as a running back. Now, I'm glad I played with him because I didn't want to hit him. And so we get in the locker room and I touch every player and yeah, come on, let's go, let's do this, let's do that. And every time I got to Brandon Jacobs, I had to give him a little something like, come on, run big. They don't want to hit you, run big. And he would go, oh yeah, they don't want to hit me, yeah. Just like the movies, it was crazy. And then I would go over to Eli because his locker was right there and I just have to go, have fun, young man. Have fun. But you have to learn who you're working with in order to motivate people differently. Everybody is not the same. Everybody is not the same. And that is one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned. You have to be motivating. You have to be accountable. You have to lead by example. You can't tell somebody to do something or expect something of someone that you're not willing to show that you're willing to go that extra bit yourself. You have to show people that I am here with you. I am in this with you. If we go down together. And being a part of a football team is interesting because you have 60 guys and we all have to believe the same thing. Because we all, at the end of the day, want the same results, and that's this ring right here. We want that one. And talk about improbable that is not impossible is our Super Bowl victory. Now, here we are. We're this vagabond of football players called the New York Giants, and we're going against this great team called the New England Patriots. And they were 18-0. 18-0. They ended up 18-1. But You asked for it, I'm sorry. But they were 18-0. We're going to Arizona. We're going to play in the Super Bowl. And we had this receiver named Plaxico Burress. If you don't know Plaxico, think about the guy who shot himself in the leg a year later. But Plaxico Burress, wide receiver we had, he predicted in front of the cameras that we're going to win the game like 17-20 or some low score. And Tom Brady says we scored a lot of points. They haven't seen us perform. And he was right. They scored average over 30 points a game, which was incredible. But we go into this football game as a team that no one expected anything of. We were the only ones that expected to win. My mom was lying to me when she said, "You're going to win, baby." I know she was. But we went into that game accountable to each other. And what changed for us as a team and what changed in my mindset, and it's something that I go way back to when I was a kid with my dad and getting a football scholarship and making it to the pros and doing all these things that I do now, is we played the Patriots the last game of the regular season, and they beat us. And they were 16-0 at that point, but they barely beat us. And we said to ourselves, if we play them again, we'll beat them. But we had to go through the Cowboys and the Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all on the road. We had a heck of a road to get down before we could meet the New England Patriots again. But once we got to the Super Bowl, there was no doubt in the players that we could beat this team. But there was so much doubt in everybody else. And especially after Tom Brady's little quip, we get to breakfast that morning, and Osi Umenyiora is there, and he's the other defensive end playing across from me. And the whole week, these guys were so relaxed. I mean, Tom Coughlin, he was like Patton as a coach. He's eating In-N-Out burgers. I mean, I've never seen Tom Coughlin do anything that may spill on his shirt. And but everybody was so relaxed until that morning of the Super Bowl. Osi Umenyiora comes to me and he says, "Michael, if we're going to win this game, we have to get to Tom Brady." And I said, "Oh, I know. Can you leave me alone? I'm trying to get my eggs and bacon, and, I'm trying to eat." No, if we don't get to Tom Brady, we will not win this game. And that's when I realized something about our team. The last game of the season when we played the Patriots, we wanted to win. Everybody here, who wants to win? You don't want to win? Everybody wants to win. Automatically, you all want to win. How many of you expect to win? The big difference. And that has been the biggest difference in that game. That has been the biggest difference in my life. When I said that my dad said, "You're going to go get a scholarship," and I said I had no concept of failure, I'll go do it. Because I didn't know you weren't supposed to be able to do it. I didn't know that Texas was the hotbed of football, the place where it's football games, high school football games are bigger than some college games. I had no concept of that. All I knew was my dad said when you get a scholarship, when you're in the NFL, when you make the Pro Bowl, when you're in the Hall of Fame, when you win the Super Bowl. It was never an if. There was never a doubt. There was never well, we want to win. We went from wanting to win to expecting to win things. And anytime you can make that small shift in your mind, it'll change your life. Anytime you stop saying to yourself, if we can solve this problem, and become when we solve this problem, your life will change forever. Because there really are no problems. They're just things that need solutions. That's all it is. I don't look at anything as a problem. So we get into that game, and we actually surprised ourselves in a lot of ways because we are kicking the butt out of Tom Brady and his Patriots. And I got to say, I see why Giselle married him. He's very comfortable. There is nothing. If people ask me if I miss football, there's one thing I miss about football. I don't miss being sore. I don't miss being blamed for losing. I miss none of that. I literally just miss hitting somebody, especially a quarterback, because they're all pretty and they all get all the pretty women. And they make more money than everybody else. I hate quarterbacks. But to hit a quarterback and you feel the breath go out of his body, and you land on him and it go, and then you get up and he just lays there. Do you know how good that feels? incredible. That's what I missed. The only thing I missed. But in that game, we went from a team that was so improbable for us to win to a team that showed that it was possible to do anything. We didn't have any big name players. We had a young quarterback in Eli Manning who hadn't done enough to really, everybody felt he could compete on that level. He didn't have to compete on the same level as Tom Brady, though, because he had other guys who were all willing to compete together. We were a team. Everybody was so focused on their job and what it took to win and not let the other person down. We went from if we win to when we win. We went from hoping to win to expecting to win. And that is the biggest difference in what I do. That is the biggest difference in what you do. Technology changes. Problems happen. They're not problems. They're just something that needs a solution. And all you smart people here in the room are the ones who can provide it. That's all it is. And now, you know, I go to Fox and I'm doing football, and then I get a call that Regis Philbin was going to retire, and they needed me to come in and guest host. And they only called me because I know other people canceled. Absolutely. Michael Gelman, a producer, knows zero about football. Zero. But I went in and never had the idea. I didn't go in actually expecting to win or expecting to win this job, because I didn't know I was even competing for a job until later on in the process. But in this process of trying to get this job with Kelly, I did the same thing, the same principles that have carried on for me, and hopefully something may resonate with you. You study. You don't refuse to stop learning. You don't sit next to somebody who's younger than you. As a football player, I never did it, and now I never do it. Never sit next to somebody younger than you and discount what they have to say, to discount what you can learn. The same thing as sitting next to somebody who's your age or somebody who may have a little bit more experience. You can learn from every person, from every step along the way. So for me, the job with Kelly and Michael was a learning process. It was my going in the first time to do that show, not knowing anything about TV. And they're giving hand signals. I thought it was gang signs. They're like throwing up stuff. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But you figure it out. There are no problems. There are just things that need solutions. And that's how I looked at it. So 59 of us competed for this job with Kelly. And at one point I realized they whittled it down to 3 or 4 of us. And the great thing about it, that's when I guess the athlete comes out, when you know you're competing for something, you go all in. And you want to know how I got the job? I'm watching Channing Tatum do Magic Mike. No. I wasn't watching a movie. I did see it. But he was coming on the show, and I knew he was coming for Magic Mike. So as a joke, I said to one of the producers, wouldn't it be funny if I came out and in college I was a stripper and I was the original Magic Mike? And she said, that's a great idea. I was joking, to be honest with you. But we came up with these rip-away pants, and the next day I went out there and I surprised Kelly and I surprised Channing Tatum by ripping off my pants, in the audience obviously, and my mama too, by ripping off my pants in the middle of this show and go, okay, and do a little, you know, shimmy, shimmy, something, something. But it showed that you're willing to play. You're willing to have fun in what you do. You're willing to take chances, and you're willing to take risks. Because I don't know anybody successful who does not take a chance, especially when you take a chance on yourself. And when I did that, it got me that job at Live, and it got me a role in Magic Mike XXL. Oh, you think I'm joking? I'm in the next movie. I am. And do not go watch it, because you would think totally different of me. But it's just acting, believe me. It's just acting. Just acting. But you got to find your enjoyment. Enjoyment, to me, means everything. It's one thing to do a job, one thing to have a job, but it's one thing to enjoy a job. And I can't tell you, I did not always enjoy football. My first several years, or first 10 years, possibly out of 15, I didn't enjoy it because it was so much pressure, and I was just worried about outdoing the last year that I was there, always proving to the critics or the writers or anybody else that I'm better than I was, or I can be better than you say I am. And it took away a lot of the enjoyment for me to the point of where it just wasn't one of those things. At one point, I almost retired after 10 years. And then I realized one thing, it's a very special job. And I went to work every day, and I just had to, it's like when I hit a bad golf shot, I used to go, you suck. Now I go, I love this game. I lied to myself a little bit. But you know what? Now I do love the game. You can convince yourself to love anything and change your attitude about something that makes the world a difference. So I decided to change my attitude about football. I decided to change my attitude about anything that I get involved in. Because if you're going to get involved in it, do the best you can at it. Why be involved in something and just be mediocre at it? If you're going to be involved, go all the way in. Gamble on yourself. Take a chance on yourself. You're allowed to enjoy what you do. You're allowed to enjoy the people that you do it with. And while you're there, maybe your attitude rubs off on somebody else. Maybe your attitude inspires other people. Because as I said, you can walk in the room and your attitude can change or change the whole dynamic of the room, if it's positive or if it's negative. And one thing I'll always remember is you're either part of a problem or you're part of a solution. And it's really up to you. It's up to nobody else but you to figure out which side of the equation you're on. And I'd rather be a part of the solution than a part of the problem. And, you know, there are so many people who are always going to be involved in your success. Like I said, nobody does anything alone. But what you have to learn to do to motivate people, which I found, is you have to value people. If you worked at the front desk at Live, answering the phone, I know you as well as I know my co-host Kelly Ripa. I may actually talk to you more when the camera's off than I talk to Kelly Ripa. Because you're important to me. Very important to me. Everybody who's around has a value. It may not be in the same business as you. It may be somebody you see in the hallway. A simple hello, a little bit of encouragement, a smile, anything could change somebody's attitude, can change the scope of how somebody's feeling, could change their day, something for the better. You could be the motivation for something great for them. And that's how you need to live. That's how you need to approach your work. When you pull up in the morning, don't go, another long day at work. Get there and go, you know what? I'm excited to be here. I'm about to make something happen. I'm about to change something. I'm getting the chance to interact. I'm getting a chance to make other people happy. I'm getting a chance to inspire people. And if at the end of the day, if you don't create the next big thing in technology, that's fine. You got tomorrow. But if you approach it with the right attitude, like I said, there are no problems. There are only solutions, and you will find a solution. But it's all about teamwork. It's all about teamwork. And when I look at these rings, it reminds me of teamwork. That's all it does. I have not seen these rings in months. And then today I'm like, wow, you know what? This reminds me of what I want to talk about. About you can achieve great things if you have other people with you. I didn't do this by myself. It took me 15 years to get this. Then I look at Tom Brady and I'm like, that sucker got 4 of them. Where's that Patriots fan? And could have had 6, actually, if he didn't play the Giants twice. Oh, that wasn't a shot. I'm serious. I mean, it really is amazing. 6 Super Bowls and however many years he's been in the league, it really is amazing. But this reminds me of teamwork. And that's what a Super Bowl is, about everybody together, working together, playing together. You know, Eli Manning, who is probably the clumsiest person I know, who gets out of a sack and stumbling around, and he throws the ball to David Tyree, who couldn't catch a cold butt naked in the winter, and the guy catches the ball off his helmet. It's unbelievable. Improbable, but not impossible. And I've seen it. And that's what this represents. People doing extraordinary things as a team. And then when you look at a Hall of Fame ring, you have so many people, guys, who say, I'll give up my Hall of Fame ring. I'll give up the Super Bowl for a Hall of Fame. Well, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. No, I'm serious, because it really is tough. But one thing that was very important to me, represented by the Hall of Fame ring, is that the Hall of Fame ring is not like this team that won a Super Bowl. The Hall of Fame ring represents 15 years of players, 15 years of coaches. It represents my father when I'm 13 years old and I calling me Bob and I'm crying and he takes me to the gym and starts working out with me. It represents my dad taking a chance on me and sending me to Texas. It represents the coaches in college and my teammates who pushed me. It represents everybody who was involved, from your teammate's mom who bought you food when she came to visit campus. This means everybody was involved in your success. And I haven't looked at these, and I really rarely do, because I don't really look back. I don't watch myself on TV now. I'm just happy when I show up, they let me in. It means they didn't cancel the show. And I don't really look back at this because I believe, and for me, if I look back too much, it kind of impedes my progress of going forward. But for you guys, I wanted to just look back and hopefully be an inspiration that whatever challenges lie ahead of you in the technology world, whatever things that are changing that may seem improbable to solve, that with teamwork, with the right attitude, with making people feel valuable, with really putting your attitude into it, not the if it gets solved, but the when it gets solved, you can change anything. You can create whatever you want to create. And that's what my life has been. And I am a living testament that if you come with the right attitude, you come with the right motivation, if you come with accountability, if you come with enjoyment, you can accomplish anything that you want. And I hope that everyone here, whatever problems that are coming up, whatever things that's changing in your industry, that you're able to change with it, that you're able to create the next great thing, and you know, that you do it with some enjoyment and with the people around you who really matter. And with that, that is really all I got. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to pass these rings around. I'm not that stupid. I wasn't hitting the head that many times. That's not happening. But we're going to do a Q&A. And I want to say, you can ask me anything you want. Now, you can ask me anything you want, but is this being taped? Is this being filmed by anybody?
Thanks, guys.
No? Okay, I'm going to get in trouble because I know it is. Here, I want you to wear this.
I'll keep this for a while.
Yeah, please do. That's yours. We're a team right now.
We're a team right now.
With you.
So some of my team knows that I am a Michigan State University grad. I'm a fervent green and white. So the conversations about Tom Brady bring me great joy because as a Michigan man, I do like to hear you talk about the air coming out of his sails a little bit. And I don't so much like the conversation about Plaxico, but a great player. Great player. So you won a Super Bowl and set the NFL record for sacks. How do you stay motivated?
You know, I enjoy what I do. So I think when you enjoy what you do, you don't look and go, you know, my motivation just to go out and do better. It's within you. I don't compete against anybody. I compete against myself. And I think within myself, I just want to do better. I want to prove that I can take things to another level. And I don't limit how far I can go. Because doing what I do now, I know a lot of people said, what is this football player doing hosting a morning show? I still get that. I still get people say, since when did you take over for Regis? I'm like, well, obviously Regis got a tan and he grew. But a lot of people are surprised, but I never want to go into anything and limit myself. And it's very interesting. Whenever you're creating a new product, especially in your business, instead of looking at things as if, okay, I want to make this new watch and I want to make it better than the last watch, why even worry about what the last watch was? Why not just make something completely fresh and new in your mind that no one has ever thought about? Don't improve on something that's already been there. Be yourself and improve on what you have in your head and make what you have in your head.
Got it. So we actually sent some of these questions out over Twitter and got some responses back. So those are the ones that we're looking at this afternoon. So which mindset and character traits have you transferred over from the football field to television?
Teamwork, for one, making everybody, like I said, feel valuable, and just the work ethic. Nothing comes easy. You have to work at everything. And in my career and in my life, it seems like everything has just been a you know, smooth transition, but it hasn't been a smooth transition. I was on a sitcom that failed. I was on a lot of things that didn't do as well as I would have hoped they would have done. I was on teams that failed. I was on teams that failed at the highest level. We got our butts kicked by Baltimore in the Super Bowl. And so for now, yeah, Ravens fans,
yeah,
security will be removing you immediately. But I just take it that nothing is really failure to me as a learning experience. So I learn from it, and it resets me to realize that, you know what, get back at it. Don't give up, don't quit. Always be motivated to go out there and do better. Always be motivated to go out there and improve and change the results from what you didn't want to something that you do want.
Awesome. I've done a lot of reading on you, and your travel schedule is unbelievable. When it's in the middle of football season, you're doing 5 days a week in New York, you're getting to LA, you're spending a couple of days in LA, and you're coming back. Where and when and how do you find time to relax and unwind?
Ooh, I find a lot of time to relax. I have morning shows, so I'm done in the afternoon, but I also have another company that I'm a part of, that I run. But, you know, and since I enjoy what I do for work, it doesn't really feel like I am all the time, you know, putting so much energy into everything, because it's stuff I want to put my energy into. And then I have kids, so kids always seem to keep you grounded. Friends keep you grounded. And I'm very simple. I'm not a guy who likes to be in Hollywood. I don't need to be at parties. I don't need to do anything like that. So for me, it's very important to understand the difference between what you do and who you are. So for me, instead of once I'm done with work trying to stay into the business of what I do, I go to who I am. And that is somebody who kind of likes to be at home, who likes to catch up on Scandal, and stuff like that. That's what I like to do. Don't judge me. I like Kerry Washington.
Everyone has people who have inspired them in achieving great things. Mm-hmm. Who's inspired you?
You've inspired me.
Oh, no, I doubt that, but...
You have. The look in your eyes. You know, I've had a lot of people who inspired me over the course of my career, my life. My dad. I mean, my dad was amazing. Enlisted in the Army after high school, and after being in the Army for 12 years, 5 kids, got out of the Army, went to college because he wanted to be an officer and he felt like he couldn't achieve the things he wanted to without an education. So he went to college with 5 kids and me on the way. Graduated magna cum laude of his class, went back into the military as an officer. So there was never something I could not tell I could never say to my dad, oh, this is so hard. Right. This is so tough, because he put himself out there and took a chance on himself in a way that I can't even imagine. So he is the motivation, he's a big motivation for me, because I know what he's gone through, and I know what I'm going through, or my schedule or anything like that pales in comparison to anything that he had to go through to make sure that I had the opportunities and my brothers and sisters had the opportunities that we've had.
You touched earlier today on your collegiate career, and you talked a little about the HBCUs. Yeah. And today, SAP and ASUG signed an agreement to bring SAP education into the HBCUs. I'd like to talk. Oh, awesome. It's an amazing thing. Thank you. Tell us about what you think, as you think about and you want to motivate these wonderful college kids that are coming out today. What would you tell them? What would you inspire them with today?
Well, you know, I like to tell kids, and I had a group of kids who came to the show this morning, and I found that there are more people who are going to tell you what you can't do instead of who are going to tell you what you can do. And that's life, and that's something that lasts as an adult. Because you can't accomplish this, and you can't do this. And a lot of times I think people want to limit you because they put limits on themselves, and they don't want to see you grow. So I tell these kids, whatever you want to do, if you set your mind to it, you're going to have roads, you're going to have decisions you got to make. You all know the difference between right and wrong, and making a decision that's going to get you where you want to go and one that's going to hold you back. But don't let anybody else deter you from where you want to go. You're the only one that controls that. And your attitude towards it, and your mindset towards it, and your desire to reach that is the only way it's going to happen for you. And, you know, in football, I used it like a quarterback, for instance. I was not a big guy. Like now I weigh probably 245. When I was playing, I weighed 252 at the end of my career, last 3 years, like 7-pound difference. But they said, well, how are you beating these 320, 30-pound guys? Because my motivation to hit Tom Brady or to hit your quarterback is greater than your motivation to keep me from him.
Right.
And that's how you have to attack whatever goals you have in life. Whatever obstacles, your motivation is bigger than whatever obstacles in your face.
Cool. It seems like kids today are starting starting sports earlier and earlier, and to get a leg up in professional sports, and where they're going. And so, growing up in Germany, you started very late, which is very unusual when you look at how things are moving today. Do you think there's a possibility that your career could happen the way it happened in professional sports today?
Absolutely. I don't think that kids have to play football when they're 5, 6, 7 years old. I played when I was 7 and 8 in North Carolina, Fort Bragg, and then we moved to Mannheim, and I didn't play until I was a senior in high school. But I think for me it happened because I had a desire to do it. I had my dad who worked with me and told me I could do it. I didn't see that there was a way for failure. And to be honest with you, I was so green and so eager to learn something and to do something well. And I was not always a good player. I mean, I don't know how I got that scholarship in high school. I think he felt sorry for me. I really do. I was a bad player. But I always had the motivation to be good at something and to work hard at something. And sometimes that goes a lot further than talent, because I've seen so many guys who are so talented. We've all seen it. So talented in what you do, but they don't have the work ethic. Or they don't have the teamwork skills. They don't have the things that it takes, because it takes more than just talent to be successful. And I was just willing to do whatever I had to do and work with whoever I had to work with to be successful and share it. You know, it's more for everybody if the team wins. Enough for everybody.
So who's easier to work with, Kelly or Eli?
Who's easier to work with, Kelly or Eli? That's a trick question.
It is.
Because if I say Eli, then Kelly's going to be mad. I'll say Kelly because Eli, I don't care if he's mad. But you know, Bradshaw's the hardest. Because you don't know what he's going to say.
Right.
And he's a problem child. He's like the black sheep of the Fox family. You never quite know what you're going to get from Bradshaw.
As we wrap up this afternoon, anything that you didn't get a chance to say over at the podium today, anything you want to share with this crowd of technology professionals? You share a lot in common, obviously, SAP being a German software company, you spending a lot of time in Germany. Anything that you'd like to share with this audience today? In addition.
Hallo, wie geht's?
There we go. You see, they're all laughing in the front row. They're having a good time.
Tschüss, auf Wiedersehen. You understand? I know, ein Bier bitte. Einmal bitte. You know what I'm saying?
No idea.
There we go. I got you. I said hello, goodbye, one beer, one more, please.
Cinco de Mayo.
The things that you need to know if you're going to be in Germany. But you know, I guess I'm really happy to be here. And SAP, I've recognized SAP from Germany. Being a kid, my parents spent 19 years in Germany, and but just to be here and have this audience and have you guys listen to my story and hopefully find something that you can use out of it. But I just love smart people. I love people who are creative. I love people who are innovative. I love people who take challenges and don't look at them as a problem, but as a challenge. It's something that needs to be solved. And that's what this room is full of. And you know, everybody here obviously is brilliant in what they do, and everybody here is skilled in working as a team. I see everybody in a blue shirt right there, obviously. And I just want to wish everybody the best in whatever you're working on, and that no issue or nothing is insurmountable. Nothing's impossible. Everything is possible if you really put your mind to it. And I just hope that everybody works together to make those things happen that they want to have happen.
You've really had a magical career. Sports, professional sports, television, film, a little bit of Magic Mike XXL, right? So that apparently...
That'll never happen again.
It never happened
again.
Believe me. A lot of people talked, a lot of ladies in the audience have been talking about that. I'm not. There, see, there you go. There's a...
Yeah, okay.
What's next?
What's next? When you retiring?
You can have this job. I don't like this stage.
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, CEO of ASUG, Michael Strahan.
Yeah. I feel like Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever comes. If I find something that's enjoyable and I love to do it, I'll do it. I'll try it. I'm willing to try something. I'm willing to fail, to learn, to find some other direction that it can go in. So I have a production company So we put out documentaries and films and TV shows. I have we have a management company. We manage other athletes and broadcasters from Deion Sanders, Tony Gonzalez, Aaron Andrews, Kurt Menefee works with me at Fox. We also manage Wiz Khalifa, the rapper. Yeah, a very diverse group of people.
It is.
But always doing something different, something that probably don't expect for me to do. And that's what I like. I like to surprise.
Yep.
So I don't know if I can do your job.
I don't know if I can do my job. So, but you try every day, right?
I would not say that in front of your boss. I would not.
We're all in the front row here.
Because from where I'm from, can you do it? Yes, I can ride a horse. I've never ridden a horse in my life. But whatever it takes, whatever I want to have fun with, whatever I can figure out that's a logical path that leads somewhere that's interesting is what I'll do.
You know, you came in this afternoon, you have a smile on your face, you command a room, people want to be around you, you commanded a great presentation this afternoon, you're a joy to work with, you're a joy to be around. Thank you so very much for being here today.
I appreciate it. But we're not getting off this stool until you give me my ring back.
No, I like this ring. I like this ring a lot.
It looked good on you.
It does look good. It actually fits over my ring as well.
Yeah, okay. Give me
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Strahan. Thank you so much.